Alright, let's go over this problem. From a given point on the ground, so I'm going to draw the ground. From a given point, so I'm actually going to write P for point. If you want a reference point, you can have someone standing there. The angle of elevation to a top of a tree, so I'm going to draw a tree. Is 36.7 degrees. From a second point, 50 feet back. So now I got to go back 50 feet. And now, from a second point, so this is P2, so you can call this P1, so point 1. From the second point, P2, 50 feet back, so that's a distance of 50. This angle now is 22.2 degrees. Find the height of the tree to the nearest foot. So if I separate this problem into two triangles, notice how the distance from point 1 to the tree is unknown, so I'm going to call that x. So 36.7 degrees, h and x. Now I have two variables, and let's think about this. My end goal is to find the height of a tree to the nearest foot. Class, what variable is the height of the tree? I'm probably going to solve for h for each of these triangles. Let's see what happens. I'm going to start here with my given angle, 36.7 degrees. And then I'm going to go across. That's called the, this one is the, and then this one is the, and which one am I not going to use? Which means that we're going to use which trig ratio? TOA, right? Tangent of 36.7 degrees is equal to the opposite over the adjacent. Now if I do my substitutions, tangent of 36.7 degrees equals h over x. Raise your hand if you got this far. Okay, now you just picked one of the variables. Now if it's okay if you actually solve for x, I think your answer will actually be the same, right? So here I'm going to solve for h. I'm going to put it over 1. And now I can do what? So I have h equals tangent of 36.7 degrees times x. I have an equation. I solve for h in terms of x. I solve for h, getting h by itself, and on the other side is a bunch of stuff including x. Let's do the second triangle. The second triangle, I have the height of the tree. This entire distance is called 50 plus x, or x plus 50. And that angle is 22.2 degrees. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm starting here, so I have the opposite and the adjacent. So tangent of 22.2 degrees equals opposite over the adjacent, which is going to be h over 50 plus x. Raise your hand if you got that. Alright, we're going to do the same thing. Just going to cross multiply. I have h equals tangent of 22.2 degrees times 50 plus x. Well, here's the great thing. Look at this. They're both equal to h. Every time I see h, I can write tangent of 36.7x. I see an h here. What can I write there? Now, all I have to do is solve for x. Once I get x, I can put it back in my picture. Once I put it back in my picture, then I can actually solve for h, or I already have two equations already solved for h. I just put back in x. Over on this side, I have a quantity tangent 36.7 times x. This one, though, has addition. So I'm going to... This is multiplication with addition, so think of like 5 times 50 plus x. What would you do? You distribute. So let's distribute. Tangent of 22.2 degrees times 50 plus tangent of 22 times x. Let's plan. I want to get these x's together. So you can do a couple of things. I'm going to subtract tangent of 22x to both sides. Don't give up. Life is harder. I'm left with tangent of 36.7 x minus tangent of 22.2 x equals tangent of 22.2 times 50. Class, what do each of these have? So I'm going to factor out as a GCF an x. X times tangent 36.7 degrees minus tangent of 22.2 degrees equals tangent of 22.2 degrees times 50. And we're almost there. This is multiplication, so I'm going to divide all of this to the other side. If I divide on this side, I'm going to divide on this side. Here's my calculator ready equation. X is equal to tangent of 22.2 degrees times 50 over tangent of 36.7 minus tangent 22.2 degrees. Now, this is my calculator ready equation. First of all, don't be tempted to cross off a tangent of 22s because you have multiplication and then you have subtraction. Another common mistake would just be to subtract the angles, 36.7 minus 22.2 degrees, and get something like tangent of 14.5. Don't do that. Separate. Now, if you multiply those and then subtract them, you will get x is approximately, doesn't tell me, so we're going to do it. So I have 50 times tangent 22.2. I get 20.4. And I have the tangent of 36.7 minus the tangent of 22.2. And if I subtract them, get an x value that represents 60.48. If I substitute in x here, I'm going to have h equals tangent of 36.7 degrees times 60.48. I get an h value that is approximately 45.1 feet. So in this problem, separate your two triangles. I got both my equations set equal to h. You could have actually had both equations set equal to x. Here's my calculator ready equation. I solve for x. Remember, x represents only the distance from the tree to point 1. You're trying to find the height of the tree. So just put that back into one of these equations. I chose this one because it's less work. And I got approximately 45.